We appreciate it. What a good initiative. Thanks so much for that. 10:35. Here's a question for you. Are you counting down to the holidays? Let's check out the calendar, shall we? Today is the 19th. Thanksgiving is next week. So between family and food and football, there's a lot to look forward to. But as we all know, it can also be a pretty stressful time too, especially after the presidential election.
So we are going to take the stress level down, and our licensed mental health counselor, dear friend Shantala Boss, is joining us this morning to talk about how we can do that. Great to have
Hi,
you.
Shantala.
For
having
me. Okay, so listen, everybody has family, and you sit around the table, and conversations come up, and there are certain conversations, as we know, that are button pusher conversations, right?
Yes,
those
definitely.
should be avoided, correct?
They should be avoided.
But not everybody's going to avoid them.
No, they're not. So we have to educate people beforehand and tell them, hey, these are some things that are okay, and these are some things that we need to maybe talk about in private. Maybe there's someone else that you could talk about in the family that you kind of agree with and you can get that feedback from. But as far as the full dinner table, we're not going to bring up these topics, and try to get a cooperation from the family members beforehand, being proactive.
And, sometimes though that's easier said than done, right? Especially around the dinner table, maybe there are a couple of little drinks flowing because it is the holidays and that kind of thing. So how do you handle someone who does start talking perhaps politics or something like that?
Well, you try to shut it down. People like to talk about themselves.
Sure.
So ask them questions about themselves personally. What are they doing? What are they up to? How's their job? And try to divert the conversation as much as possible. That's really what, we can do, because there's going to be way too many differing opinions and it can get highly stressful. So acknowledging how they're feeling and then trying to change the conversation a little bit is kind of what I recommend.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's really good. I was going to ask, kind of going off of that, what are some kind of just fallback topics? You said talking about personal things. Are there anything else, like music? I think we mentioned in the commercial break. Yeah.
Also, family traditions.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Coming up with ideas for things you can do as a family, whatever it may be, activities that you can plan. So things are getting a little heated. Oh, it's time for us to get up and do something fun.
Yeah. I'm the queen of that. Let's change the subject.
Let's play Uno.
Little Jenga. Is there ever a good time to talk politics? And I say that because inevitably it's going to come up, right? And maybe if there's a civil way that you can have that conversation, it may not be a bad thing.
Well, it depends on how many people you have over and their political views. I guess setting the dinner table beforehand.
You don't even know their political views. That's what's interesting. There may be some family members you don't know until you may start talking about something, not realizing that they're on the complete opposite side of the spectrum.
Well, we can control ourselves.
Sure, absolutely.
So I have to do this every day. Everyone has different political views than me, but they would never know, right? Because I can't have the same political view as all my clients. So they always think I'm on their side because I am. They're my clients.
You are diplomatic. I like it. Yes.
So try, we can be diplomatic. We can. I know it's hard with family, but if we're hosting, we can come up with some rules within ourselves. Deep breathing, calming, what upsets us, what triggers us, how do we reframe, all that stuff to try to divert the conversation. Also, if there are other people in the room that we know it's going to trigger, being aware of that. So it's a tough thing, though, for sure.
So we love, and this is what we do, right? We love to tell family stories or memories around the table. So, and sometimes I love to ask, my parents, well, what did you do when you were kids, and what traditions did you have? Because I think when you're together as a family, and it's important for the younger generation to know what traditions did Grandma and Grandpa have when they were younger, right? It's sort of about growing and learning about each other too, and then it's all political free, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yes.
That's a great topic, though, and to come up with some activities together, like you said, Uno, Jenga, things you can do outside.
Yes.
Also, quick, you can get out of that, plan it. I have something else I have to do. If you feel like it's going to be a very heated time and you're going to visit family, have a plan for afterwards.
You know what I find so interesting, though, because now we're talking about politics perhaps being kind of the taboo thing to talk about around the Thanksgiving table. But there's also personal issues. There's family you haven't seen in a while. There's maybe some trauma and things like that. So you combine all those things, it can get very, very volatile around the dinner table. Because let's say we decide we're not going to talk politics, but we didn't say we weren't going to talk about Uncle Jimmy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And
You know what I mean?
The awkward things that, sometimes get asked, like, when are you going to have a baby?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like all those topics that are like, oh, gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that does happen. And,
Right?
some things you just can't control.
That's exactly right.
Families are complicated. So we know
Say that
this.
again, a little louder for the people in the back,
Very
Shantala.
complicated. It's not what you see on social media.
No, ma'am.
It never is.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people get depressed during this time of year. We have this ideal or what we think it should be, and we're human. We have human relationships and situations. So keeping those in check and remembering what we're grateful for, because that's another thing. All going around and talking about what you're grateful for and what happened good this year.
I love
I
that.
love that. That's actually a great
good
idea. Okay,
information.
I'm ready. That's number one. What are you grateful for, right? Well, I'll start with that.
We'll start with that.
Thank you. We're grateful for you.
Shantala.
Thank you for having
Thank you so
me.
much.
We're on air hug.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Licensed mental health counselor Shantala Boss. And stick around. We've got much more Good Day Orlando Extra coming up right after this.